Hello, everyone. Vibe Tribe. Yes, it's time for these changes. Can you feel the winds of change? As we are changing in seasons, we too change in our own lives, and we're called to jump in and to adapt. So let's talk a little bit more about that because that's what I've been also learning from. I've had to make some major changes in my life. I remember when it may seem long ago, but it's still very fresh in my heart. I'm not sure if that'll ever completely go away. The memories of when I also retired from being a childcare provider of over 20 years. I knew that I was going to already start closing it or adapting or changing it the year that I was doing it because my daughter was going to go to school. So we wanted to give her a space in her home where there wasn't going to be too much commotion that was going to distract her. So we were going to make the changes. But then the universe made those changes for me and a lot swifter, and it like nearly took the breath out of my stomach. And I'm sure a lot of you are going through that right now. And that's what Spirit's telling me. Today's energy report is all about change, and then to remember what you came here to do. We come in here with different hats that we will wear throughout our lifetime. And as we learn and we grow from experiences, as we study, as we connect with other people, and as life happens, we are called to be able to adapt and to make these changes. And a lot of the times we're kicking and screaming. I mean, I have been one of those people that when things got a little uncomfortable and it wasn't my routine or my rhythm, I would get like anxiety. It would get harder for me to breathe it through because it was uncomfortable. It was unknown. It was different. And that's what I was telling to my guides, and my guides were talking to me about. We were talking about how all of us are feeling this urgency of change. Are you going through it too? Have you noticed that the changes can be your house, maybe your job location, career change, relationships may have ended, new ones are just starting. You may even be called to do, in addition to what you're currently doing in a career, maybe you're being called to do something else in addition to that as you are learning how to acclimate and then move forward into your new position. Divine just wanted me to let you all know, say yes to change. I know, easier said than done. Trust me, I do know. And the reason why I'm mentioning is this, that 555 kept coming up. Now, back in the day when 555 would show up in my life, I would have freaked out. I'd been already shortness of breath, just working my affirmations, helping myself, just really supporting myself to go through the changes. Well, it's showing up again, but it wasn't just showing up for me. It was talking about for the collective. But even still, this time, maturity does happen. I was able to look at the 555s and be like, oh, change is coming, but I'm going to be supported through it. And that's what Divine wanted me to share with all of you, is that changes are happening. Some of them you have choices and you have control of it to some extent. There's other situations where you will not have any control over that as well. But either situation, we can grow uncomfortable, frustrated, confused, depressed, even detached from ourselves, from other people, because it's called the withdrawal process. And so Spirit wanted me to come on here and just to, if you're watching this video, this is a reminder to let you know all is well. Okay? This is a reminder that Divine is letting you know that life is an adventure and it's okay to say yes to change. Because if you don't say yes to change, the change is going to be done for you anyways. So you can make the transition where you're smooth sailing or you're on a rocky pothole Colorado road hoping not to bust a tire. So you gotta choose the perception that you want to use to navigate in this journey called life. Now, there's a lot of chaos going on around the world, but as we've learned that even as we're giving birth to a child, the woman is experiencing life and death at the same time. She is in a process of death, yet restoring and giving life to the next soul as a battery charge like nobody's business, to allow that soul to come through the woman's portal, through the woman's vessel, And there's a lot of chaos before the bliss. Okay, so the woman is going through all this contracting, nauseating, a lot of pain, difficulty of breathing, having a moment of trying to stay remained and focused, all at the while of experiencing the bliss and the beauty of giving birth. And that's what's happening right now on the planet, is that a lot of us souls that are incarnated in this flesh, we're almost feeling like we're back in that pressure system of being in our mom's womb, and then when we come out, and a lot of us can't remember that because there's that amnesia to save our brains. But there is, like any time when we're going under a major amount of pressure, it's because eventually the release is coming. And so we are going through momentous occasions of pressure. And I'm sure at some level that you may be experiencing it right now, and you want to jump out and say, I'm out. But Divine is saying, jump in. Jump in. So that could be, again, changes, whether it's your career, it could be a new location to live at. It could be new people that you're going to work with or connect with, network, commune, some way, somehow, I should say, is how that can happen for you. Now, some of you have very significant opportunities showing up in your timeline, and these are opportunities ahead of you. Now, we are given opportunities of choice. Some of our life events are fated. We were born to deal with it. Some of it is destiny, where we have an option to make a choice based upon our choices can alter our trajectory. Some of us can get us closer to a certain goal. Some of us think that's the only goal that we're supposed to get. So then Divine steps in and brings us more fate, other born connections or interactions that we're supposed to have so that we can go down a certain path. And I've spoken to several of you about some extent of free will, and then part of it is what we're meant to do. So I've had this conversation with a few of you, but Divine wanted me to share this with you. Everything that we're dealing with at some level is a soul plan. It is a moment that your soul has chosen to experience, whether it's with people or living in a certain location, doing a type of job, certain relationships, intimate, friendships, personal, professional, what have you. And this fated life that you're given to communicate with people or to connect with people, the ones that cause you great pleasure and pain, it can be both. Let's call it plain. No, but really, there's going to be an interaction of either one or both, and you're meant to go through it. And so it's for your soul to remember the destiny that you have chosen. So this is where we have those aha moments where people say, whoa, it felt like a deja vu, or God, that feels very familiar here and I can't shake it. And so what we're being told is that this is the time. This is our awareness showing us that it's time for us to take courage and to have faith, because we are exactly where we're meant to be. And the people that are not meant to stay in your timeline, they were there for a significant purpose, and then they must go, and vice versa, you must depart. And it's not because it wasn't something that was valuable. It was valuable up to the point where it was alignment and necessary. Then you grow. You're supposed to grow. So then you change, just like a caterpillar looking at the butterfly. It's like when the caterpillar looks at the butterflies, and that could be his friend, and be like, whoo, you've gone through some changes. You don't even look the same. And the butterfly looks back at the caterpillar and says, yeah, because we're supposed to. This is the process. This is the way of life. And so Spirit wanted me to come and share that with all of you. That's what you're kind of going through. Are you the caterpillar looking at your butterfly, which is you, your future self? And you're afraid. You're afraid to take those wings and fly. And so Divine says, again, say yes. Step up in your faith and your courage. If it's being presented to you, whether certain things are closing and other doors are opening, it's there because it's time for you to recall what your soul desired to learn when you came here and incarnated in this vessel. And it's time for your soul to go down the path that you're meant to be in. A lot of these moments are prearranged. And again, then we're given opportunities of free will where you have choices, which is why as channelers, seers, mediums, we can say that some things can be changed and altered just by your choice. Now, some of them may be changed to the point where you can't get to a certain destination, but we are aware that people and situations can create shifts. So, for example, we have a couple that wants to be together. Now, they have a great percentage of being together in a good match. Now, they have a wonderful season, but they were really here. The percentage was not for them maybe to get married and to have children and what have you, but maybe they came in together as an agreement. The two souls agreed and said, we'll be together. We're going to create a significant growth in one another. But the only way to do it is to enter each other's life. And even if it's temporary, it's going to be soul life changing, that it's worth it. What do you say? And the soul goes, yeah, let's do that. Why wouldn't we? Because they're not given all the limitations that we have on this plane. That's us. I'm speaking up. Us. So, okay, now here back to the couple. So the couple's no longer together. And so they get mad at their medium or their psychic. Well, you said that we were a perfect match and we were supposed to have this life together. Well, the numbers, if spirit says that you guys are a good match, that meant you were a vibrational match at that moment to teach each other a lesson that only you would have learned from one another. What? Yes, that happens. That's when I start talking to you again, the fated life. Okay, so you're meant to come together again and meet each other. But then the destiny is up to each person, that couple. So say for you, you may be the person A, and person A goes, oh, I want to be with this person so bad. And person B was like, thank you so much for showing me more about me and how I want to live my life. And I learned that it's not going to be with you at this time, or maybe not at all. But I needed you to teach me this. Thank you so much. And sometimes the souls, partner A and B may not leave on amicable understanding because they didn't get the bigger picture yet. They're still feeling the loss and not understanding that there is greater gain because of the loss. So I mention these things because that's what's happening to the collective, is that we're at a crossroads in our life all the time. Now, some of you are walking in perfectly on your journey right now because you have learned to follow your intuition. You have gained this greater understanding and ability to communicate perhaps with your guides, with your higher self. You're so in tune with the planet's vibration that you may not struggle in that area. But that doesn't mean, that does not prevent you from having moments of certain goals or outcomes that you wanted that didn't get achieved in a certain way, or a certain level of expectations you may have had. Doesn't mean that was ever in vain or that anyone else that was channeling was wrong. But we are being called that we also must believe and trust in our soul's heart. So we have guides on the planet and off planet that are here to help us to live a life that we can really learn and grow, evolve, and get really enriched, enhanced experiences that you can't just get unless you go through with it. And that's what's happening to the collective, is that we are all being given choices right now, including myself. Now, some of my decisions can be difficult and challenging and heartbreaking and heart-wrenching, and I can lose and I can sacrifice. And then Divine showed me that it was for my highest and greatest good. And that's what I'm seeing in the collective, that we don't talk about the mourning. We don't talk about the pain, the confusion, the emptiness that we feel when those things start to fall away. But we can talk about that. We can have our moments. We can acknowledge when we're pissed off, when we're feeling disappointed or sad or confused, or it's okay to acknowledge those moments, these feelings, these thoughts. But Divine is calling us to not hold on to it where it debilitates us and keeps us hostage. So you're being invited to remember what your soul's greater plan is on this planet. What does that look like to you? What does it feel like to you? How do you surrender to all that? If you're being confronted with a path that may seem undefined, unfamiliar, you're not sure, but it keeps showing up. It keeps showing up. It keeps showing. No matter what you do, you try to run from it and you try to hide from it. You don't want it. that may be something that is part of your fate. Now, you may have choices in your destiny on how you want to get there, but you still have to get to that fate. Okay? Like I thought I was going to be a daycare provider, retire that way. And I was perfectly happy and fine with that. And then I discovered that this was my fate. This is my fated life choices. This is what I came as my soul desire to be a light worker in this timeline right now. Be raised in a family, in a society that does not understand and fully respect what our superhuman abilities that we all have. It's called intuition. We're all born with it. And I can go into it a lot deeper. That we're able to tap into that and to be a part of who we are and use it daily so that way we can not feel so lost. We have an inner compass that a lot of us have thrown to the wayward side and not really have picked up. And so a lot of people are feeling like they haven't really faced their greater soul's plan. And so listen, all of us have this life journey, and some of ours look similar. Some of ours are very unique. And well, they're all unique in their own way, even if they're similar. But what we're being called is that there is no other way around it. You must go through it. And that's why Divine said you must say yes. If you don't say yes, it doesn't matter. You're going to go through it anyways. But now with this, I think of a child that's fighting against Here's an example. I just got one right now because it's my own child. I have one of my children had an issue with dealing with, one of my children had an issue with being in water. I later on found out why I did past life on my child and fixed that. But once my child got past the fear and I showed the child that they were safe in the water, the child now begs for bubble baths and plays toys and all that. So that's what happens. I kind of feel that's what we go through. Like, I know I did. I was kicking and screaming to even do what I'm doing now full time. I was fine with keeping Life Force Energy part-time while I was doing my other things, and Divine said no. So changes were made for me because I kept fighting against it because I wanted what I wanted. My outcome was I was still going to do LFE and still do my other versions of what I like to do. And Divine, I understand, had to give me full 100% focus because of what's happening on the planet and the gifts that were given to me the moment that I came through my mom's portal. And so that's what's happening to a lot of you right now is that you're being called to embrace your soul's path and plan. And then you say you want it. And then when you're going through the tumultuous moments, because people forget that in order, like I think about high school. Well, remember all the years of school that we went through, the bullying, the teachers, the freaking terrible assignments? We had to go through all of that, but then we graduated. And that's how it is in life. You got to get to a point where you're going to go through all these different levels of educating yourself, going through experiences, hardships, bullies in this life, and then you're going to have to make a choice and keep going. So what Divine's really saying is you got to go through with it. You can't run and hide from it any longer. The more that you do, you're going to make it more difficult and more challenging for yourself. And if it wasn't meant for you, it wouldn't have showed up. Not everyone wants to wake up to be a surgeon. Not everyone wants to wake up to be a crosswalk person. So we're all called to do something different. And so what Divine was telling me is that a lot of you are struggling with the paths that are laid before you because it's out of your comfort zone. I get it. But at some point, what you're doing right now, you were uncomfortable to get to where you're at today. And as you continue to grow, you're going to have moments of being uncomfortable. And then the following year, you're going to look back and be like, it wasn't so bad. Because if you think about where you're at right now, and yes, some of us had some terrible days in schooling, but we made it. And we're even better because of it. We're even stronger beings with healthier boundaries because we're like, I'll never allow people to treat me that way again. So just as a reminder, this is your moment to jump in. I don't know who's meant to see this video, but all I know is that if there is wonderful opportunities laid on your pathway, if there are friendships and connections that are being separated and are now being exhausted, expired, send them their love. Thank goodness you had them for the time that you did, and then walk away. because someone else has got to come into that person's path, and that person just made space for the next person to come into their, where they were at once at your life, so that they can help you in the path. And it's all for your good. It's all for your life to feel more abundant, so that you can feel more evolved. So at any time that you've noticed that maybe connections with family, friends, jobs are changing, you're changing, you're maybe not even wearing the same hairstyle, just saying. It's okay. Say yes to change, jump in, and you got to go through with it, my friend. Just as you've been doing throughout your lifetime in this timeline already, you've been doing it. Don't give up. Divine's got your back. You're not going through this just to say to go through with it. You're going through all these little challenges and obstacles, and you're experiencing these new challenges where what Spirit was telling you is that a lot of you are going through some of the changes right now, and you're freaking out because it's so unfamiliar. It's the unknown. But I'll tell you, I've known people that have been in companies for 30 plus years. They got let go. They got somewhat of a decent severance package. Some don't. And they had to figure it out because they were so thinking that someone else was going to take care of them, and they got too complacent and they weren't looking out for themselves. So all I'm saying is that at this point in your life, if there are changes that are happening, because 555 keeps showing up. So 555 is showing up for the collective. It wasn't just for me. Yes, I got it for me. But then when I was channeling yesterday, right before I started work, I was gaining that there is complete, huge, drastic, I mean, crazy changes this year. Like maybe, I don't even know exactly how that could be. Let's try to pretend like it could be as cool as the sliced piece of bread. Like, I don't know what it is, but Divine keeps telling me major changes are coming. It's going to impact the whole world. And not just talking about the war. I know I talked about that, but good stuff. Because I know, Divine has me come in here and warn you guys and tell you guys how to get certain things in order, so that way life isn't so hard and stressful. And when the shit hits the roof, you're like, I'm covered. I'm fine. But right now, what we are being told, the good news, I'm bringing in good news today, that this is an adventure. Life is an adventure, that this is a journey that our souls said, I'm ready to do. And Divine says, I got your back. You don't have to worry about it. You think I didn't put those right people in the right place at the right time? I could see the bigger picture. And so I just wanted to remind you, because I think some of you are having moments of panic attacks about the new changes, the transitions of jobs, the new house locations, the new breakups, to someone else just showed up all of a sudden and is like showing interest, and I don't know how to feel about this, to new hairstyles, to new dress codes. Embrace who you are today, my friends, and Divine's got your back, and this is your time. So all the stuff that you've been working on for the past few years, this is the time it's being put into action. And I'm sure a lot of you are feeling the pressures all around you. I am. But I just wanted to remind you guys that it's okay, that there's got to be endings for new beginnings. And there's new beginnings happening to each and every one of you. It's happening in your family, in your businesses. It's happening within yourself. Number one. Isn't that awesome? You're changing. I was telling my daughter, like, I noticed some more emotional maturation on some of my own personal shadow work that I've been doing. And I go, whoo, I handled it differently. Oh my God, my thought process is not leading me into a panic attack. This is amazing. And so I just wanted to share that with all of you. And I'm so glad that a lot of you guys are like your Indiana Jones of your own life adventure, and you guys are taking it and you're running with it, and you're like, oh my God, it's been crazy. I almost cried. I almost died, but I'm here. I'm going to share a video that one of my girls, I love Teresa, she sent me, because this is what life feels like. I'm going to put it on here and share it shortly, but she's the one that sent it to me. And I just laugh, because that's exactly how it feels like. Oh, and by the way, a lot of you all that have been receiving activations throughout the years, and possibly did DNA changes and code alterations in your bodies, you're all feeling it. Your psychic senses are going to get super heightened. You're going to almost feel like it's out of control. And at some levels, it will feel that way. And you will get through it. You will also notice that your body is changing. Have you guys noticed your physical bodies give it some time. You guys should do pictures right now. Swear, no joke. Do a picture from now and then keep it in your records and then do one next year, because your DNAs must be altered for this new universe's energy frequency. And I'm at universe. Remember I talked about how this planet is, oh my gosh, I've got so much to share. But the main message today is jump and say yes. The challenges are real, but the successes, the happiness, and the value is just as real and so worth it. You're worth it. And thank you so much for everyone who are jumped on and that are watching. Please feel free, if you're not part of my Facebook page and you're watching me on YouTube and you'd like to learn a little bit more, as Divine comes in and just grabs me really quick and says, go out there and say this. You know, my lives and readings are going to be very random because I run a full-time practice. And again, I'm just totally just available whenever Divine wants me to speak. So if you are watching this video, congratulations. Number one is in order. Congratulations, because this means Divine's got your back. You're being supported. You are acknowledged. You are not in a place of scarcity. You are in a place of prosperity. Claim it. I'm in a place of prosperity. All is well. Divine has got my back. I am not going to lose. I'm only gaining for my highest and greatest good. So when your spirit, your little self, you know, goes, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Go, I can do all things. Because this was already meant for you. You just got to go through with it. So thank you for everyone watching. Again, follow me on Facebook. Check me out on YouTube. Please like and subscribe so that other people on this planet get this message, because they must need this confirmation, this validation. It's to inspire them to not give up. Your trying is not denying you from the life that you're meant to have. Your trying is getting you into a life of thriving and a life of fulfillment. So go get it. Wishing you all love, insight, and healing. Take care, everyone.